Hey, how's it going, everyone? So I've been getting a couple emails regarding how exactly do you upgrade the Twitch Phreak Bot that I've created. So I started writing the documentation, and it's pretty straightforward, but there might be some things that people perhaps might get hung up on. So what I decided to do is create a video of it. So we're going to go through this step by step, and hopefully this will be helpful when people go ahead and upgrade the bot to a new version from an old version, and how do you carry your points over and all that other good stuff. So alright, so step number one, I think the most important thing is going to be you need to be sure that you have a backup of all your points and your settings. You don't want to upgrade to the new version and lose all your user points. I've seen this happen, and this is on very early versions of the bot before we had ways to back up these kind of things. So there's basically three different ways that you can back up your points to be sure when you do upgrade, you always have backups of these points in case something goes wrong during the backup. So let's take a look here. So the first and the easiest way to back up not just your points but your entire bot installation is if you look on the screen here. I have my bot set up and it's running right now. This is bot version 0.53. We're going to end up upgrading to the newest version, which is 0.55. So let's go through this real quick. So mine's located on my computer on the D drive in a folder called Phreak Bot. Okay, so you can see it has this right here, the user map file. These are actually your user points. Depending on how long you've been using the bot, this file can be up to about a meg or two if you have thousands and thousands of viewers. Think about every 10,000 viewers that you get about 1 meg size. So this is your user settings right here. This is where all your settings on your bot, like when you try to log in, your oath key and all that good stuff is saved in there. So we want to kind of carry that over if we can, right? Alright, so the easiest way to back this up would be to basically copy the entire folder right here and paste it just somewhere else. So we'll go ahead and do that. We're just going to go back one thing here. We're going to go to copy. I'm just going to paste it like in my downloads or something, or even in my documents, somewhere safe that if something does go wrong, I can just go to my documents and find it right here, right? So that's the copy. It was made on 4/28, which is today. So we know that's the one. So we're just going to go back to where we were. So now we know we have a backup of not only our settings, but also our user map file, which is where all our all our user points, excuse me. That's one way you can do a backup. Okay, the second way to do a backup is you can actually import and export your points, your user points, into a text-based file. So we can export it on this 0.53 version that we're using right here, and we can go ahead and import it on the new 0.55 version that we're about to download once we get to that point in this demonstration. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll go to export points. And it says export of the user points was successful. The file name is export user points timestamp blah blah blah. We can see the file that was created right here, right? Let's just go ahead and open it, and we'll make sure that our user points are in there. And as you can see, it exported all the user points into just a basic return how do you say well, that sounds a little confusing, but as you can see, it's just the name, space, and then how many points they have. And depending on your user, obviously this file will get significantly larger if you have lots and lots of users. Alright, so that's good. That's what we want. So that's the second way that you can back up besides just copying the entire directory. So the third and final way, and I suggest that if it doesn't really take that much room on your computer to use this option, you can actually turn on your periodic backups right here. So you can tell it backup on shutdown. So now that setting is set up. And what happens is we can disconnect here. And we can close it. And we're going to actually fully close our bot. And you'll see right here a new file will actually pop up. And that's what we want. We want it to actually, every time we shut down the software, it's going to create a backup of our users' files there. So we're going to try that here. So we're going to close it. It says, are you sure you want to quit the program? We say yes. And as you can see right here, it created a user map backup that actually did not save that's interesting. So that's a bug. I'm gonna have to fix that, but you do have the two other ways, so please disregard that way to back up right now. That looks like a problem that I didn't see gonna happen there. So disregard that way to back up. I guess I should have ran through that dry run before starting to capture this. So, oh well, maybe I'll try to edit that out when I release the final video. But in the meantime, you have the other two ways. You can copy the entire directory, which I think that would be the easiest, or you can actually export and import the files. So that's interesting. So we're just going to delete that because there's nothing in there. You can see by the size. The original size was 18, and this one is only 1. So that's something I'll have to work on the next revision. Okay, fine. So we got our backups of all our files. So I think the easiest way, pretty much, to upgrade. So now we're going to go like off the first way that we did. We just copied the entire directory. We saved it into my document, so it's in a safe place. If we ever, let's say this upgrade for whatever reason doesn't go the way we want, we can just basically pull that back up to our documents and start using it pretty much. So we're going to go ahead and download the new version of the Phreak Bot here, which is 055. So we're going to go ahead and open this up, and as you can see inside here, it has a very similar setup. We did this on purpose to make the upgrades easier for people to do. So what we're going to do here is first make sure the bot's not running. We made sure we shut it down. And what I'm going to do here is we're basically just going to overwrite the Phreak Bot. Well, actually, it won't overwrite anything in here now that I'm seeing this. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I got a little confused there. We're just going to pull this into here. It's going to say move and replace. And that we want to see this. This means we're putting in the right thing. This will be in the instructions, the written instructions that I'll include in the new documentation. And we're just going to tell it to move and replace here. So there was some stuff. Because the documentation hasn't changed since version 053 and 055, it's still the document version is 052, so that's fine. We're going to tell it to move and replace. So now, as you can see, we have two versions of the bot here, right? So we know we want to use the new version and not the old one. So we're just going to delete the old one in here, just so we don't accidentally load it when we go to load our bot, because we don't want to use the old version. We want the new one. So we're just going to say yes. And now that's gone. So what's going to happen, as you can see, we still have our old user map file. We also still have our user settings. That's exactly what we want when we upgrade. We want our points to be there. We want our settings to be there. So what we're going to do is, if all goes well, we should be able to just load this 055, and it should load not only our user points, but our settings. So let's go ahead and give it a try and see what happens. And it does. It has all my settings in here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to tell it to connect, and then we're going to export the file again and actually see if our user points are there. So we're going to let it go ahead and connect here. And once it's connected, we'll make sure it loads, because we want to make sure before we do the export that it loads all our users into the system, into the bot. So it's loading it from the file on the hard drive here into the bot, and we want to make sure that happens. Let's see. Alright, so we should be able to go to export points, and it's going to be the newer timestamp here. And as you can see, the points are there in the new file. So I believe the higher number is the newer 133, 128. So this is the newer, and as you can see, all my points are there. And that's pretty about as simple as it gets. If anything goes wrong, like I said, you have the backup wherever you copy and pasted your entire Phreak Bot folder onto somewhere on your hard drive. You still have your user settings, your points there if anything horribly goes wrong. So that should conclude this video of how to upgrade from an old version of the Phreak Bot into the new one. What I'll end up doing is I'll highlight this on Twitch here just so it's archived, and then I'll include a link to this into the new documentation or even on the website so people can check that out. And again, there'll be a written version of this inside the new documentation, which will be version 05 something pretty soon. Me and we actually have another teammate working on the project now as well, and we're implementing the other types of the GUI interface for the interaction with the bot through the GUI and not just the chat. So that'll be a next major update. There's no ETA exactly on when that'll be, but that'll be coming soon. So thank you guys for your patience. Thank you guys for the bugs that we've been going through along the way here. Obviously, with the automatic backup, I need to look into seeing why that's not working properly, and hopefully that'll fix on the next major revision. So thanks for hanging out, guys. Hope the video was helpful. If you have any questions, please contact me at crashandburns@yahoo.com. You can see the contact information on the project homepage here, and the project homepage as well will be is always included in the documentation as well. So thank you for watching, and I will talk to you guys later.